Allah, who's with me? Allah.
Wow, Jen, this kitchen from Cabinets to Go looks amazing. Thanks. We needed a rewrite.
Who's on here? Alright, I'm gonna get started on this. I don't know who's with me and who's not. So this one's called Coming Home by C. Davis. Hi, Beatsy Lou Who. Okay. I don't think my chat thing was up there. I think that's why I wasn't seeing you. I can see your comments now. Yes, ma'am. But I wasn't seeing them to start with, so I was like, who's with me? Okay, prologue. Kinsey. I met Austin in grade school. He was my best friend. All right, Bon Jovi, we're gonna turn you down just a little bit. Actually, it's low strung, but still. I met Austin in grade school. He was my best friend, later lover, then a distant memory. I was introduced to his brother, and soon after I graduated high school, I married Brent. Brent was sweet and caring at first. After a month of being married to him, he showed his true colors. He was a wealthy businessman that owned his own company. My parents adored him. My aunts and uncles worshipped him. Not a day went by I didn't think about Austin. If I'd picked him, would we be happily married? You embarrassed me for the last time, woman, Brent growled, shoving me into the wall. Pain overwhelmed me when my back hit the cool and hard surface. I'm sorry. Sorry. This is the last straw for me, Kinsey. I have no choice but to send you to rehab. Hopefully, you'll be a changed woman when I see you again. Tears rolled down my cheeks when he took a hold of my chin and forced me to look into his eyes. This wasn't the man I married, not the sweet boy I fell in love with. Please, I'll do better. Don't send me away. Your bags are packed and ready to go. Austin should be here soon to take you back to Oklahoma where you'll reform yourself. Clarence's Hope is the best place for you to go now. No, I whispered. I can't. You can't be serious. I'm not crazy. You need help, sweetheart. I'm done cleaning up your messes. Clarence's Hope is more than a psychiatric hospital. It's got the best rehab program money can buy. I heard a rumbling from outside and the crunching of gravel. Please don't do this. He grabbed the bag and yanked me by the elbow. The decision's been made. My mother thinks this is the best thing for you. Your mother, too. It had been years since I'd seen Austin. I heard his heavy footsteps and blinked away my tears. I didn't want him to see me like this, weak and vulnerable. The only reason I turned to alcohol and drugs was because my husband didn't love me anymore. Hell, he hadn't touched me in 4 months. All he did was go to work, attend meetings, and host parties. All I am to him is the trophy wife he stole from his brother. Brent shoved me into Austin's arms and glared at him. Make sure she makes it on time, and for God's sake, make sure you don't let her out of your sight. The little bitch can't be trusted. I've been shamed for the last time. Brent, don't be so hard on her. I imagine being married to you can't be easy, Austin said softly. Says you. You don't even. Says you. You don't even. Quiet. Just get her out of my sight. I was bewildered at my husband. I thought you loved me, I whispered. I did. I do, but you need to get better. I'll be here waiting for you when you get out of rehab. That's the last thing he said to me before Austin got me out of there. I couldn't hold in the tears anymore. Austin hugged me and kissed the top of my head. He didn't mean any of that, darling. He loves you. He doesn't love me, Austin. He hasn't had sex with me in 4 months. What? He doesn't love me anymore. Hasn't in months. Brent wasn't always an asshole. He didn't change overnight. It started out forgetting the little things. My birthday, our anniversary, the day we met. I turned the blind eye and hoped it was nothing. I stayed because I loved him. Then came the late nights at the office. He'd come home in late hours smelling of whiskey and cigarettes. Another sign I should have left. But still, I loved him. It was as if I didn't exist to him. Only one person never strayed. Didn't forget my birthday. Him. The one that got away. Austin. Brent's brother. The man I left behind. He called me every birthday, but I was too ashamed to talk to him. I was disgusted with myself. I shouldn't have been thinking about another man besides my husband. Now here I am in his arms, all because my darling husband was sending me away. Brent was just thinking of himself. He was getting me out of the public eye. He wanted to make the problem disappear rather than facing it himself. Nothing but a damn coward. Austin held me in his arms as I sobbed uncontrollably. Brent is a damn fool. My vision blurred, the effects of alcohol and drugs still being in my system. Austin's warm embrace had memories running through my head. I shook my head and tried to shut them out. It was useless. I may be married to his brother, but I still had feelings for Austin. Always had. Took you long enough to get here, Ori. Austin cut my cheek and forced me to look into his eyes. Look at me, Kenzie. My brother is a fucking moron sending you away. He'll come to his senses, and when he does, he'll regret everything he's ever done. I nodded. I'm sorry you're in the middle of this. I didn't think. Hush. There's no other place I'd rather be. You're my brother's wife, family. And there it is. That's why he's off limits. Forbidden. I pulled away and rested my head on the back glass, closing my eyes. Just get me out of here. I must have dozed off because I felt the vehicle slowing down and stopping. I groaned as I opened my eyes as I glanced over at him. We'd pulled up to a hotel. I furrowed my brows when he pulled his phone out and dialed a number. Hey, it's me. No, she's with me. She's fine. I'll see you soon. Who was that? I whispered. Nobody. Sorry, I had to throw something in garbage. Um, Nobody. Okay, I guess I deserve to be kept in the dark. After all, I left him behind. Austin checked us in to the hotel and led me to a room. He wrapped his arm around my shoulders and locked the door with his free hand. He pushed it open and murmured, This is all they had left. I'll take the couch, you take the bed. You don't have to do that. The bed looks big enough for the both of us. It's for your own good, not mine. Austin muttered. What is that supposed to mean? Austin brought one hand up to my cheek and murmured, Nothing. Just go rest. We have a long drive ahead of us. Ever since we'd left the house, he's been weird. This wasn't like the Austin I remembered. He wasn't afraid to say anything. I let out a breath and leaned into his touch. Good night, Austin. If you need anything, I'll be on the couch. I took my shoes off and lay back on the bed. I stared up at the ceiling and tried not to think about what the future would bring. I tried to wash away Austin's touch. Tears filled my eyes when I thought of my husband's last words. He said he'd be waiting for me. I know I screwed up, but that wasn't a reason to shut me out. I mean, he just threw me into his brother's arms. I glanced over at Austin and bit my lip. He met my gaze, and that's when I felt it, the sparks, the connection we used to have. I quickly turned my head and focused back on the ceiling. If I acted on my feelings toward him, I'd complicate things. For Christ's sake, I'm still married to his brother. That could get messy. I finally dozed off, but not for long. I could hear Austin blowing out harsh breaths. I opened my eyes and debated whether or not to ask him to get into the bed. I know that couch can't be comfortable. Austin, just get in the bed, I whispered. Go to sleep, babe, I heard him reply. I haven't heard that in years, not since we were teenagers. I slid out of bed and went to him. I curled up into his arms and felt him tense up. His warm breath hit my neck as I buried my face into his chest. This was a bad idea on so many levels. His arm tightened around my waist and murmured, You should go back to bed. I just need someone to hold me tonight. Please, Austin, I need you. He sucked in a breath, and I felt his lips brush against my neck. You're killing me, babe. I can go back to bed if it's too much for you to hold me. I tried to get up, but got pulled back into his arms. I didn't say to get up. You need this. I need this. It's been too long since I felt a woman's touch. His nose slid up my neck, and I felt the sparks again. What? I never got over you, Kenzie. Not a day went by when I didn't think about you, about him, if you were happy. Now I know. Know what? That I should have fought for you. I should have crashed the wedding and taken you away from him. You may be married to him now, but know this your heart never truly belonged to him. It was always mine. I swallowed hard. I should go. No, stay. I shouldn't. We shouldn't. You're probably right, but I can't stop myself. This body is just too tempting to me. You're addictive, Kenzie. His lips brushed mine, but failed to capture my lips. One move, and I'd be able to taste him one more time. Just once before I got thrown into hell. It was clear his brother didn't desire me anymore. Kiss me, Austin, I begged, needing to forget my terrible life. Hug me. I really want to, but there's no way I'm doing this tonight. I won't touch you when you're this messed up in the head, Kenzie. When I touch you, I want you to remember makes this pussy come and who makes this pussy come, and it damn sure ain't my brother. Just one kiss, please. That's all I want. That's not gonna happen, babe. If I act on my desires, I won't stop with just a kiss. I'll take all of you. I'll ravage this body until there's nothing left of you. Is that what you want, sweetheart? Do you want me to ruin this delicious body? Ruin me, Austin, please. I need this. Close your eyes and get some rest. I'm too tired, and you're not in the right frame of mind. Wake up. It's time to hit the road, I heard Austin whisper. 30 minutes later, we're back on the road. The air was thick after what happened last night. I didn't mention our almost kiss, but neither did he. If anything, he's been more distant. Let me try these and see if they work any better. I have a plethora of glasses over here, so bear with me. I just get tired pushing them up all the time. It was as if my presence. All right, hold on. 30 minutes later, we're back on the road. The air was thick after what happened last night. I didn't mention our almost kiss, but neither did he. If anything, he's been more distant. It's as if my presence makes him sick. Okay, what's wrong? I broke the silence. He swerved to the right and slammed on the brakes. You're kidding, right? Everything is wrong. You're my brother's wife, and I nearly kissed you. What we did last night was wrong, and it won't happen again. Not while you're still married to that bastard, and not while you're fucked up in the head. I'm driving you to rehab and dropping you off. After your treatment, you'll go back to him and live your perfect life. I closed my eyes and slid closer to the passenger side door. Just drive. He let out a sigh. I didn't mean that, babe. I know life with my brother is far from perfect. He's an asshole and I'm no better. I'm just tired and I get it. You have better things to drive. You have better things to do than to drive your crackhead. No, it's not that. The thing is, I don't want to drive you to rehab. I want to take you home where you belong, to me. But I can't, and that pisses me off. I can't until he's not going to wait for me, is he? Austin shook his head. I'm sorry, but there's something you should know. He's already getting the paperwork together. Paperwork for what? Austin took my hand and gave it a soft squeeze. Divorce. He's filing for divorce. A sharp intake of breath and an ache in my chest made it hard to breathe. So it was true. Brent was throwing me out like yesterday's trash. He didn't love me anymore. His family was done with me. Worst of all, my own mother betrayed me. Austin, hush now. Don't think about it. No matter what happens between you and my brother, I'll always be here for you. I mean it. Anything you need, don't hesitate to ask. But where will I go after treatment? I whispered, tears rolling down my cheeks. He wiped them away and murmured, well, let's just get you to Oklahoma and get you settled in. Do you trust me? Of course. Then don't worry about a thing. I'll take care of everything. I'll take care of you like I was always meant to do. Chapter 1, Austin, 6 months later. I couldn't get Kenzie out of my mind. Everything reminded me of her. I'd been dodging my brother's calls. I knew what he wanted. He wanted me to do his dirty work for him. I sighed when I saw Brent's name flash on the screen again. My best friend Chase raised a brow. I shook my head and hit ignore. You're not going to answer him? No. So it's true. Him and Kenzie are over? Yeah. My phone lit up again. I expected it to be Brent, but it wasn't him. It was an unknown number. I knew who it was. Her. Kenzie. I picked up on the second ring. Yeah? Yeah. Is this how you is this how you're answering the phone now? Is this how you're answering the phone now? Kenzie, I breathed out. It's so good to hear your voice. So, remember when you told me to call if I needed anything? Yeah, I remember. Um, I'm officially broke and homeless. Brent, I heard her sob into the phone. We're over and I have no place to go. Where are you? I'm about 10 minutes from your house. I'll be there soon, sweetheart. I ended the call and closed my eyes. When I opened them, Chase threw me a smirk. I shot him a glare. Don't you say it. He held up his hands in surrender. I didn't say anything. You okay to tend the bar while I get Kenzie settled into my house? Go, I got this, he assured me. It only takes me 20 minutes to get home. Kenzie is sitting on the porch, one bag perched on the step. She meets my gaze and offers a small smile. My nerves twist in nervousness as I near her. She looks better, healthy, a little thin for my liking, but still healthy, clean. I'm sorry to I'm sorry to show up like this, she whispered. I took a seat next to her and reached for her bags. It's no problem. I told you that I would always be here for you, no matter what happened between you and my brother. I'll just stay the night and I'll be. No, you're not sleeping on the streets. It's not safe for you. Please tell me you didn't hitchhike from the rehab. She cuts me off. No, I wouldn't do that. I'm smarter than that. How did you get here? It's an hour drive from rehab to my house. I walked? Fuck. You should have. Why didn't you call me? You're angry with me, she murmured. You could have been hurt. I ignored her statement. I've always I've been taking care of myself all these years, she replied. I couldn't help but feel a little guilty. After all, I was the one who introduced her to Brent. If she had never known him, she would have never married the bastard. Please don't be mad at me. Please don't be mad at me. I stood up and shook my head, holding out my hand for her to take. Come on, let's get you settled in and a hot meal in your stomach. You must be famished. I took her inside and felt the urge to push her against the wall. I wanted it so bad. The almost kiss 6 months ago had haunted me each and every night. I sit I set her bag down and cupped her cheek. Austin, my head is clear now. Are you going to kiss me now? No, not yet. Yet. That was the key word. Can I take a shower? Of course. I'll get you something to eat. She kissed my cheek. Thank you for everything, Austin. Kenzie was a free woman now. She didn't know it yet, but I was going to do everything in my power to make her mine. I'll offer her a roof over her head along the way. I'll steal a kiss or two, treat her like a princess, maybe even take her to my bed and make love to her. I prepared her a bowl of beans and cornbread. Oh, yum. with a side of fried potatoes. Oh my gosh, where's the macaroni and cheese? And that's set to go. I placed it on the dining room table and made her a glass of sweet tea. God, that's just hit me in the what feels. Beans and cornbread and sweet tea and fried taters. Give me some macaroni and cheese and pan fried okra and some fried squash and maybe even some fried green tomatoes. Oh my gosh, I just died and gone to heaven. Notice there was no meat in there. I could be a vegetarian if everything tasted like that. I took sister. She farted. I took a seat and let out a breath. Kenzie made me feel things. Most of all, she made my dick hard as a rock. The things I wanted to do to her, oh man, the things I wanted to do to her should be illegal. I groaned and shifted in my chair. My dick was pressed firmly against the zipper of my jeans. I hadn't even touched her and I was already on the verge of losing control. I wouldn't touch her, not yet. I want her to have a clear head and get rid of all thoughts about Brent when I when I kiss her. You didn't have to do all this, I heard her murmur from behind. I smiled and shook my head. All better? She nodded her head. She nodded and bit her lip. Yes, thank you. Come on, eat up. She took a seat and began to eat. I'd be able to control myself as long as she didn't tempt me. She moaned, Oh, God, I've missed this. I swallowed hard when she took another bite and moaned in approval. Babe, as much as I love pleasing you, you shouldn't make those sexy little sounds, I warned her. She furrowed her brows and put her spoon back into the bowl. Her eyes traveled down to my lap and parted her lips. Austin, I'm sorry, but she scooted closer and whispered, did I do this to you? You know you did. Everything about you makes me this way. I cupped her cheek and leaned in, but not closing the gap. I pulled my face away before I acted irrationally. I wouldn't kiss her until I knew she was ready. That day wasn't today. I let out a sigh. You should eat. I'm sure you're exhausted. I'm starving for something else. Eat and go rest. I'll see you in the morning. I stood up suddenly, needing to get away. I didn't want to, but I had to take care of a problem. A very hard one. Can I sleep with you? I'll come up, say goodnight after I finish my shower. Eat up. I entered my bathroom and stripped out of my clothes. I turned the water on and waited for it to heat up. Fuck taking a cold one. I needed to relieve myself. I stepped into the shower and closed my eyes as the water hit my chest. Visions of Kinsey invaded my mind when I wrapped my hand around my cock. I braced myself against the tile, stroking my cock vigorously. Another vision of Kinsey entered my mind. This time she was spread out on my bed, cuffed by my wrist, cuffed by her wrist and ankles, body drenched in sweat. And me, my face was buried between her thighs, my tongue deep inside her cunt, her screams echoing through the room. Fuck, Kinsey, I groaned. I was coming so hard and fast. I washed my body and hair quickly. By the time I was dressed in a pair of sweats and shirt, I exited the bathroom. Kinsey was staring at me wide-eyed when I'd accidentally bumped into her. I wrapped, I wrapped my arm around her waist and kissed her forehead. Everything all right? She shook her head and held my phone out. I was. You left this in the kitchen. I wasn't snooping. I swear I wasn't. Relax, babe. What's wrong? The sound of my phone ringing gave me the answer. Brent's name flashed across the screen. I hit ignore. I didn't want to talk to him, not after all he'd done. It rang again. What? I barked into the phone. Did I interrupt something important? I could hear the sarcasm in his voice. What do you want? I'm tired and have to be up early in the morning. I found some I found some of Kenzie's things. Should I just ship them to your place or did the little crackhead find a place to stay? Don't be a dick to her. She doesn't deserve it. Me sending them instead of telling her to pick her shit up as me not being a dick. I don't think she'd want to see the woman I decided to leave her for living in what used to be our home. Just send them to my place. Just know this, when you decide to come to your senses, leave her alone. You've done enough to fuck her up. Better yet, lose this number. I have no desire to speak to you again. Yeah. Oh, how would Dad feel if he knew the little slut was living under your roof? How would she feel if I paused? The truth will come out, and when it does, I'll make sure you pay for everything. I heard him sigh. You were always the dramatic one. I'll send her things tomorrow. I ended the call and met Kenzie's gaze. Austin, on second thought, maybe you should sleep with me. I want to have you close to me. Is that a good idea? Probably not, but I need you in my arms tonight. Oh snap, hang on, I gotta get something to. Yes, that should work. My computer's not right now. Sorry, y'all. Too many cords. Let's see if this works. Okay, yeah, that worked. Okay. Chapter 2, Kenzie. I wanted that more than anything. He thought I was shocked about his brother calling. That wasn't the case. It was for a different reason. I stepped into the bathroom to return his phone. I couldn't tell him I could see what he was doing, that he was jerking off in the shower. More importantly, I shamelessly watched him, listened to him moan my name. Lord help me, I was so turned on right now. This man, oh God, he made me feel things. And now he wanted me to sleep next to him without acting on my desire. Easier said than done. Come on, let's get some rest. He led me to his bedroom and threw his phone on the table on the way to it. I stumbled into his chest, causing him to groan. My palms lay flat on his chest as he tightened his hold on me. Our eyes locked onto one another as I parted my lips. I wanted him. There's no denying that. I saw you, I confessed. Yeah, and I know it's wrong, but I couldn't stop watching you. It really turned me on hearing you moan my name. Shit, babe. Now you're making me hard again. Why do you always do that to me? It should have been you. I shouldn't have wanted Austin. Not the way I did. Not when he was practically family. I mean, I used to be married to his brother. Damn it, babe. I don't think I can hold back any longer. I need you. Crave to feel your skin against mine. And my dick, he needs to feel your pussy clenched around him. I leaned forward, needing to give in. Austin slammed his lips against mine and groaned. I tightened my arms around his neck and deepened the kiss. Fuck me, Austin, I murmured against his lips. Before I know it, I'm thrown onto the bed. Austin discarded his shirt and pants. He still looked good enough to eat. He hovered over me and settled between my thighs. He brought one hand to my cheek and brushed his thumb along my bottom lip. His touch caused a small moan to escape from me. I took the tip of his thumb into my mouth, teasing him, wanting to make him lose control. I didn't want it soft and gentle. I wanted it rough. I needed him to mercilessly fuck me. I'll ravage this body until there's nothing left of it. Ravage me, Austin. Show me what I've been missing. Eat me up like it's your last meal. Oh, baby, I'm going to. You can bet your sweet ass on that. He curled his fingers around my neck and kissed me hard. Right now, it was just us. Me, him, the desire that had been bubbling between us since I saw him again. It was always Austin I longed to be loved by. I have no idea why I stayed with his brother. He treated me terribly, hurt me, threw me out, all because he didn't want me anymore. That's okay. I've got my Austin back. My Austin. I love the way that sounds. Don't think about him when I'm touching you, Austin growled, squeezing my throat. Ah, God, I could barely talk when he looked at me like that, like he wanted to eat me. My brother made a mistake throwing you in my arms. Now that you have me, what are you going to do with me? Just as I said, I'm going to ravage you every inch, every orgasm. All your moans belong to me. You see, you were never really his to begin with. You've always been mine, sweetheart. Austin, oh God. Austin lowered his hand and squeezed my right breast. I parted my lips and moaned quietly. This only made Austin narrow his eyes. Don't hide those sexy moans from me. I want to hear them coming from your mouth. Goodness, it was so hot in here. Austin had a way of making me feel like I was on fire. Clothes, get them off. They're in the damn way. It seemed like fate was getting in the way because I heard a knock at the door. He sighed, pressing his forehead against mine. Fuck, I forgot about that. What? It's my friend. He comes over once a week to watch the show. What show? Don't laugh. Promise me you won't laugh at me. I snorted. Tell me it's not the Vampire Diaries. Oh no, let me guess. He shook his head and chuckled. Oh, it is, isn't it? Austin averted his gaze, his cheeks burning a little. This is golden. He gave me a pointed look. You said you wouldn't laugh. I let out an exaggerated giggle. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. It's just an hour, babe. I promise once he leaves, you're all mine. Every inch of this body is. Go answer it, and I'll meet you in there. I turned to get dressed, but felt a sharp sting on my ass. I gasped and glanced at him. Did you just spank me? You know it, babe. From the look on your face, it seems that you like getting that ass smacked. It was me that was blushing. I did like it a little too much. Can't deny that it started to make me wet just thinking of getting my bare ass spanked. He gave me a flirty wink. I'll have to remember that for later. I did have a kinky side. I loved giving up control. Something about not being in charge had my heart beating faster. Go answer the door. By the time I met him in the living room, he had already turned on the show. I took a seat on Austin's lap and laid my head on his shoulder. He wrapped his arms around my waist and whispered in my ear, how quiet can you be? I glanced at his friend, who seemed to be very into the show. Austin grabbed a blanket and covered us up. Before I know it, he's teasing my clit with one finger. I gripped his forearm and looked into his eyes. I let out an inaudible moan when he slid two fingers inside me. Got anything to drink? His friend asked. Help yourself. Actually, could you bring me one? I'm suddenly thirsty for some water. The glint in Austin's eyes told me he was definitely up to something. How right I was. Once he did, only he didn't drink any of his. He held the cold bottle against my nipple. It hardened at the first touch. I was such a slut for enjoying this. I shouldn't be this excited doing this with Austin in front of his friend. During the entire show, Austin edged me to orgasm and stopped before I could come. I was so frustrated. My nipples ached with need to be bitten, licked, and sucked. My breath hitched with his breath when his breath hit my neck. Austin was still a dirty talking motherfucker. You gonna come for me, babe? Austin, I can't not, I whispered breathlessly. Be a dirty girl and come for me. I know you want to. His friend yawned and stretched. I'm gonna go. Same time next week? You know it. I could feel the smirk in Austin's voice. As soon as the door slammed, I threw my head back and closed my eyes. Fuck, fuck, fuck? I'm going to. That's it, babe. Let go for me. Austin's demanding voice controlled me. My nails dug into his forearms and my hips bucked against his hand. This is only the beginning, babe. I'm going to worship every inch of this delicious body. Chapter 3 Austin. God, she was perfect, just like I knew she'd be. Everything was perfect until I heard the knock at the door. Go to the bedroom and wait for me. When I get back, I'm going to fuck you so good. I gave her ass a smack as she walked away. I shifted on the couch to adjust my dick. It was so hard from watching her come on my hand. I opened the door and clenched my fist. None other than my brother was standing on my porch. You weren't into answering my calls, so I decided to do it this way. When someone doesn't answer the phone, that means they don't want to talk. Besides, we have nothing to talk about. Oh, we have plenty to talk about. Brent leaned in and sniffed the air. What the hell are you doing? I hissed. Smells like pussy in here. Tell me, did you like my sloppy seconds? Without thinking, I lunged at him and grabbed him by the collar of his shirt. What the fuck do you think you're doing? You show up unannounced and expect everything to be cool, like you didn't throw her out, like you haven't been hurting her. You were always the dramatic one, weren't you? Coming here was a mistake. Austin, I heard Kinsey murmur. Brent peeked over my shoulder and grinned. Hello, Kinsey. Long time no see. Don't look at her. Better yet, leave and lose my number. Please don't fight. I glanced at Kinsey and then back to my brother. Go back to the bedroom, babe. Babe, I'm going to ask you one more time. Why the fuck are you here? He sighed. I need Kinsey to come back home with me. No, not gonna happen. You see, when you threw her in my arms, I made a choice. I promised myself I wouldn't allow you to hurt her anymore. She's exactly where she belongs. Home with me, in my bed, in my arms. I'm giving you 10 seconds to get off my property before I kick your ass. You're going to really let that crack? My fist connected with his jaw. Go back home to your whore. Fine, but this is far from over. I slammed the door and pressed my forehead against it. I took a few deep breaths, um, trying to calm myself down. Kinsey wrapped her arms around my waist and whispered, "He'll be back." I knew that much already. My brother was stubborn. I know, and that's why I'm not going to answer the door next time. I'll just call the cops and have him arrested for trespassing. Let's get out of this place for a while, just you and me. I'm not running from him. He's got to pay for what he did. And he will. Just give it a little time. Can I tell you a secret? You know you can tell me anything. I'm a kinky girl. She's kinky. Remember when you found my handcuffs in my room? I remember. I really wanted you to use them on me. Yeah? Cuff me, Austin. Take me to your room and have your way with me. I don't. You have anything that would pass for cuffs? I have a few things to tie you down. To tie you down, babe. Let's go see what we can find. I took her by the wrist and pulled her into my chest. Her eyelashes fluttered when I brushed my lips against hers. Are you sure, babe? Yes. I've missed you so much. The nights without you were pure agony. It broke my heart when you chose him over me. I once visited you and Brant, only turned right back around. I couldn't bear to see you with him. If I'd only known that he was hurting you, I'd bust through the door and take I'd have bust through that door and took you back. I don't want to talk about him. I gathered her hair in my hands and claimed her mouth. In the middle of the kiss, my mind wondered, how deep did her kink go? Would she take everything I gave her and thank me for marking her beautiful body? Better yet, would she call me master, sir, or daddy? I pulled away from my lips and I pulled away from her lips and whispered, "How kinky are you, Kenzie? Something tells me you want more than me tying you up and having my way with you. Very kinky, Austin. I want it all." Fuck, babe. You're every man's wet dream. Tell me, what would you call me when I edge you over and over? Master, sir, or daddy? What would you like for me to call you? Now she's just teasing. You can call me anything you want, babe, just as long as you know who gives you pleasure. I took both wrists in my hand and held them behind her back firmly. I didn't miss the desire in her eyes when I pushed her down onto the bed. I wouldn't bind her tonight. I wanted to take it slow with her, give her what she needs. Right now, I'd be gentle with my girl, kiss each and every inch of her body. I slid my shirt over her head and leaned over to her to whisper in her ear. I don't want to rush things. I want to take it slow tonight. Then, after, I'll show you what you've been missing. I'll be your sir, master, or daddy, as long as that's what you really want. I want you to be sure. I know what I want, sir. First, I'm going to sit on the edge of the bed and watch you dance for me. You still like to do that, right? She nodded, but this time I want you to strip for me as you do it. Slowly seduce me with your body, babe. I took a seat on the edge of the bed and watched my girl sway her hips seductively. I propped my elbows on the bed as I leaned back. She still looked beautiful to me, just like I remembered. A fucking goddess. That's it. Turn around and let me see that ass. She turned as she rocked her hips and it made my cock hard. So fucking good. Kinsey spread her thighs and reached down to hold her ankles as she shook her ass. If I didn't know any better, I'd think she might be trying to make me take her hard tonight with all this teasing. It was making me want to get her on my bed and tie her up. I unbuttoned my pants and slid the zipper down. I pulled my pants off and threw them to the side. Sliding off the bed, I pushed her gently to her hands and knees. Austin, Kinsey gasped. My hand connected with her ass as I growled in her ear. It's sir to you, young lady. Please, sir. That was music to my ears. I didn't think it would turn me on to hear her call me that, but it did. Is this what you want? I asked as I ground my cock against her ass. Yes, fuck me, sir. First, I need to make sure you're ready for me. I slid my hand around her waist and inched between her thighs. Sure enough, she's dripping for me. Her sir. Kinsey lets out a moan as I rubbed circles around her clit. Just as I felt her body tighten, I removed my hand. If she wants sir to edge her over and over, that's just what I'll do. I smile when I hear the frustration in her breaths. I brush two fingers over her clit and tease her once again. Her hips rock as she attempts to find the relief she desperately needs. Not yet. I do this again until her body is begging to come. I need you, sir. And I need you, babe, I say as I slam into her. Our bodies move in sync as she cries out for more. I didn't think she could feel this good wrapped around my cock. It was better than I had when I was younger. Another thrust is all it takes to bring over the edge. It was perfect. She was perfect. It's just too bad a knock at the door ruined it. I didn't have to answer it to know who it was. I already knew Brent was the asshole who was banging on the door like the police. Don't answer it, Kinsey whispers. Get dressed. This shit ends now. I put my pants on and slide on my shoes. I didn't bother putting on a shirt. It was time Brent realized who Kinsey truly belonged to. Me. It was always me. I opened the door and leaned back and leaned against the doorway. Yes, brother. I let the word brother roll off my tongue like a poison. Give her back to me. No, she's not yours anymore. In fact, I don't think she ever was yours to begin with. You see, Kenzie's heart has always belonged to me. You asshole. The only ass I see is you. As for getting her back, not a fucking chance. You either go back to the city now or all your secrets come out. I know what you really are. I'd be happy to give an anonymous tip to the local news channel. Brent clenched his fist as I felt Kenzie wrap her arms around my neck. You should listen to him, Brent. You wouldn't want another scandal, would you? Perhaps I should make the call myself. You heard her. It would be in your best interest if you left now. Sweet sweetheart, I made a mistake. I need you back. Brent tried to reach for her, but I took a few steps. It's over, Brent. I won't let you hurt. Oh, it's over, Brent. I won't let you hurt me anymore. Leave now, or I'll be forced to make that call to the police to report you for spousal abuse. Please. I slammed the door in his face and turned to Kenzie. She was the strongest woman I'd ever known. She faced her fears without shedding a tear. I was more in love with her than I've ever been. I placed my hands around her waist and kissed her hard. There was nothing stopping us now. Brent was taken care of. She was free, mine. Fuck me, sir. Sir. She still wants to call me sir. Go to the bed and strip off your clothes. Sir is ready to take this to another level. All right. That brings you guys up to chapter 4. And that'll leave you with chapter 4 and the epilogue. So that wasn't too bad. I knew I'd come close to finishing it, but I wasn't sure if I'd finish it all. And it's part of the To Call You Mine, an erotic romance anthology. And it has a bunch of good authors in it. Let's see if I can name some of them off so that you guys. Mm, okay. Um, Last Chance to Call You Mine, an AMR erotic anthology. Elizabeth Safleur, C. Davis, K.M. Keaton. I've read her on here. Mark S. Mark S. R. Sterling, Nia Farrell, Anne Rainey, P. Ryder, Robin Andrews, S. Hurdle, and let's see, Catherine C. Kelly. So, I've read a few of those on here. So, you guys want to check it out. Go get it. Nina, how much did you say it was? Like 9 cents or something? It's usually what they are. So, all right, everybody. Have a great day. Say a prayer for me. I got to do this computer thing and it's going to try my patience. But you guys have a wonderful day and I will see you guys Wednesday. Happy reading.